do this. Next up, we have Intervallo IV-1 boss battle theme from the Limbus Company OST. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here musically. So if you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, all that good stuff. Consider becoming one of them paid members, like subscribers, whatever term you want to use. Support the channel that way further. And two disclaimers. Number one, this is my first time hearing this track, so I will be pausing a lot. I will be pausing a lot because I'm going to be pointing things out as I hear them. And number two, this is happening live on stream. I'm recording this live on stream on a single take, which means I might stumble upon my words here and there. It's just whatever happens, happens, right? So, with that said, let's do this. Intervallo IV-1 boss battle theme. Let's see what you got. Okay, we are 5 seconds in, and we start with a lovely, fascinating orchestral start. The trombones, we start with trombones, giving us the motif. Bum, 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 bum. Which is a called, was it? Hang on, let me hear that again. Yep. Okay, yes, so in the business, we call, first off, that is the motif, the smallest version of your musical idea, the seed from which everything else comes from. But in the business, we call this a double neighboring tone. What does that mean? The first and the last song of the motif are the same. There are two notes in between. One goes below and one goes above. Right below and right above the initial note gives us this shape. Gives us this shape over here. Imagine that I am actually able to connect my lines, right? Which is a very lovely method, and it's one of the very basic things you learn with when it comes to counterpoint. Like, you can have the neighboring tone the other way, like going up and then down, but the point of a double neighboring tone is that there's one note going one side, like right next to the note that you're in, one to the opposite side, and then back to the first one. And that is our motif. So, we start with our motif being given by the trombones, which, again, this sounds like it's got a lot of orchestral stuff. So, the study of orchestration, we have, of course, picking the right instruments for the right sound, the right psychological response, all that kind of stuff. We heard trombones at the start on their lower end. Maybe the tuba was there as well. I'm not entirely sure. But here's the thing about brass, right? When you do things with instruments like trombones, it's a big risk. Why? Because they are very, very loud instruments. Them being the only instruments, like we had a drum beat, like a bass drum first, giving us the first hit, then the motif came in with the trombones being front and center. That's fine, but in general, it's risky to use brass instruments because they are very loud. They can very easily overpower an orchestra. So we had the trombones giving us that motif, then a bit of a rhythm started, and I think it was a saxophone played the exact same motif. That's how I knew it was the motif, because it got repeated immediately. So let's see where this goes. Yeah, it sounds between it could be a muted trumpet. It could be a muted trumpet. It didn't sound like a saxophone. Might be a tenor saxophone, maybe, or a soprano saxophone, maybe. But the idea, I'm gonna call it a muted trumpet because it sounded like a muted trumpet to an extent. So what is a muted trumpet, you ask? Of course, a trumpet, I think most of us know what a trumpet looks like, is this very, very lovely instrument that 3 valves is a very complex mechanism. Even though it's only 3 valves, it's a fascinating instrument. And when you have a muted trumpet, you add things such as this. These are called mutes. You put something in front of the trumpet. Although these ones, depending on which mute you use, is a different type of sound. There are several types of mutes that are very common in things like jazz. So yeah, we have a trumpet that seems to have had some sort of mute and is playing the motif. And we're having that, it's either a trumpet or a saxophone. Either way, I think it's muted in that way. And it's fascinating because we are having a little bit of flair here and there with the motif. But at the end, it's still really, really, really cool stuff. Let's see where it goes. Oh, that was a fun transition. So we started doing a variation of the motif because, of course, we started with the double neighboring tone. And, oh, wrong. So double neighboring tone. And then we started sequencing it downwards. But what we were doing is that instead of doing it the full double neighboring, instead of the last note being the first one, we went further down and we started the motif. And we did that to go even further down. So this way, further down, this way, further down, to give us this sense of falling down, of everything breaking down. Then we had a brief moment, drop the beat, and there's it. Oh, what a drop, dude. Man, this is really cool. We are incorporating the what would be called a stinger in an orchestral sense. It's not really a stinger, it's more like just accents. I think it's accents. So the difference between an accent and a stinger is that usually stingers are a one and a done thing. And accents is we are using the trombones, shoulder, the trombones to highlight certain points of the rhythm. Still trying to resemble the original motif as much as we can. Of course, when it comes to beat drops like this, a lot of the times you will see very, very cool moments of just fairly new material, very rhythmic, very unexpected stuff. I'm liking this a lot. Let's see where this goes. Another variation of the motif. Yeah, we're doing what could be in between variations of the motif and a solo. This could be a fairly Stravinskyan approach, because of course these had to be recorded and composed in a very specific way, which, by the way, Igor Stravinsky, for those of you who don't know him, Igor Stravinsky, one of the greatest and most influential composers of the 20th century, and he had many, many ideas. One of them was the concept of planned improvisation. You compose something in a way that it sounds like you're improvising it on the spot. It's an insane concept that an insane man like Igor Stravinsky had, along with other things like polyrhythms and polyharmony, that kind of stuff. Like, he was a wild man when it came to his compositions. Very, very unique Russian man. His life was fascinating. And the concept of planned improvisation came into play with most of his music. And I think it's a very, very cool thing to compose. So, yeah, we are having this trumpet, or Shostakovich was the most popular Soviet composer. And Shostakovich was, Shostakovich is it's influential in a different way, because Shostakovich was one of the very, very few people to ever say no to Stalin in public and live. That's how famous he was. But one of the most influential composers was absolutely Stravinsky. So, yeah, Shostakovich was a Soviet Russian living in Russia, but he was the greatest Russian composer of the time. And Stalin personally asked for several rules to be followed on some of his compositions, and Shostakovich just flat out said no publicly and said that he was just going to write whatever he wanted. And there was nothing Stravinsky could do because not Stravinsky, Stalin could do because if they made him disappear, he was way too high profile and way too beloved, and they were parading him around the world. As you see, we also have good composers kind of thing. So yeah, absolute mad lad. Like, Shostakovich was fascinating. Stravinsky defected from Russia. He went to America. So there's that. Anyway, let's continue. So yes, we're having this moment. I love the variations of the motif because overall they are keeping a lot of the aspects of the original motif, but they are being developed. Like, the motif is slowly developing and sounding more like solos, more like it's being done. It makes it feel like it's on the spot improvisation. Like, there's these people that got together and just started jamming these out. This is really, really cool. This is a really, for a boss theme fight, this is really cool. Especially the trombones hitting, like, really, really hard like that, yeah. Oh yeah, resistance, absolutely, yeah. There we go. We repeat the motif. And we have a moment in between the transition. We use one of my colloquial terms. Colloquial just means there's no academic official term. We're just... I'm just not using an official term for the purposes of illustrating my point. I call this going off the ramp. Very popular in short bursts in electronic music, right before the drop. Because when you're making music, you're doing one of two things. You are building tension or you are resolving the tension. That moment in between, we call it, that's right, a cadence. So when it comes to that really brief moment in between, that space in between, a way that you can delay that a little bit is by going off the ramp. Going off the ramp is you want to make your listener feel suspended up in the air, like you went off a ramp and now you're at the mercy of gravity. Remove the drums. Oh, I had my microphone. Remove the drums. Remove the drums, remove the bass. Maybe leave just one instrument going. And then you land it. And that's it. Good transition right there. You finish resolving it. So, there you go. There you go. Serious choice. I think we added strings now. I think those are violins. I think those are violins there as well. Variations of motif on the background there. Oh, the transitions are so good. Another drop, another variation of that first drop. Like, the drops also have been kind of their own sections, kind of their own motifs as well. Rhythmically speaking, they're very, very similar one to another. This is really good, yeah. Oh, the sound of the clock ticking, that's really cool. And I like this having this whole two sections, but really one kind of, like, not only these sections separate, but it's like we're having two pieces that are separate from one another, and they are interacting with each other. Because what we are having here musically, I would say, we had, of course, the intro, which was an absolute delight to listen. We had part A with the trombones and the saxophone and that section. And then we had part A, maybe A2, with the first drop. Because that wasn't really B. It felt like kind of like A. Then we had part B when the saxophone or trumpet or whatever it is came back. And then we had a moment of drop. We got the second drop. We're kind of in B2. Or I am just imagining things and we're doing A, B for the drop section. Then we came back to A prime, doing those variations, those like improvisations of the motif. And now we are in B prime. Prime just means it's a variation. Because overall, yeah, no, I think this is more likely. It just, there's such a big contrast between A and B. Yeah, this is it. Because again, when you're making music in this sense, you want B to be a contrast. And what better contrast than we went from trombones and trumpets to a freaking electronic music drop, right? So yeah, this is it. It just sounds like the differences are so drastic that it sounds like they are two completely different pieces working together. Even though, yeah, there are shared elements now that I think about it, because there are some rhythmic elements here and there that overlap between the two. So yeah, it just felt weird in that sense that these are two really high contrast parts that just feels like they're two separate pieces together. Really cool. Oh, man. The change in rhythm, dude. We have reached the climax of the track. We added an electric guitar, a couple of electric guitars. We are bringing these strings in. There's more trumpet. There's more trombone, more accents. This is awesome. Now that's a saxophone. Now that's a good old saxophone playing those variations from A prime. We're in A double prime. That means, structurally speaking, we are now in A double prime, a second variation of A. So this seems to be, it's not a rondo. It's not a rondo, but it is A, B, A prime, B, A, B prime, A double prime, B double prime, which is more complex binary, but it is a binary. We're just going back and forth between these two sections and exploring them individually. This is really cool. There goes that really fun going up. Oh, there you go. Second part. No rondo this time. No. Oh. The counterpoint is so fun in this one. We are having so many individual ideas collaborating and colliding with each other. It's insane. Counterpoint, of course, wrong button. Counterpoint being the study of melodies, usually how melodies interact with one another. And we are having, and I love how everything melodically has kind of come from that original motif. And then variations of that, and then variations on those variations. It really is a 3-minute piece that came out of those 4 initial notes. It's insane. Like, the level of craftsmanship here is insane. But there you go. We're getting a lot of counterpoint. We're getting like 3-4 part counterpoint with a lot of call and response. Call and response being one melody or one instrument, one music does one thing, the other music does another. Right away. It's really fun, dude. This is really, really fun. It's really fun to see where it goes. There you go. B double prime. Oh man, and now we're going all out. How are you gonna end this though? How are you gonna end this though? Outro time. Okay, so yes, we had that awesome second variation with accents from the orchestra and everything of that B section. And now we're off to the outro. This is really good, dude. I need to play Limbus Company. Holy shit. Okay. And it's gonna loop. Yep, and then it loops right back. It loops right back. It's set up so that it just automatically loops right away and right away and right away and right away. This is... Oh. Yeah, no, like this is... I consider this still a good enough ending, better than fading it out. Because that way the track can just start over. And once the section is done, you can have other music interrupt the music and that's it. But there you go. That was, yeah, that's one way of ending it. You just repeat the track. Just set it so that it repeats immediately after. So, man, this is This is really good. This was really, really good. There you go. That was Intervallo IV-1 boss battle theme from the Limbus Company OST. That was a really fun track, dude. Really good use of trombones, man. It's insane how good those trombones were. Like, very, very short and sweet, very strong bursts, but they were really good. But there you go. There you have it. Once again, everybody, this has been a Basterd's LFA layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and I hope I have explained things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what has happened here musically. If you're watching this on the video archive, thank you for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, all that good stuff. If you want to request a song and you're not on the live stream, go to the Discord, LFA requests channel. I'm also going to pin the comment with those instructions as well. But LFA requests channel, follow the instructions on the pinned messages. If you don't follow the instructions, your song is not going to get considered. Simple as. And if you want to listen to this without me interrupting every 2 seconds, I will be linking it in the description so that you can go listen to it on your own time. And if you want to watch these streams live on air, go to the Discord or the Twitch, linked in the description, and they contain the starting schedule, the schedule tabs or channels that show the schedule in your local time zone, so that you don't have to bother with calculations or anything like that. And yeah, there you go. Consider subscribing to the channel, doing the we just got monetized, so consider doing one of the memberships. I'm looking into doing members only content for non-video game music. I'm still in the planning stages at the time of this recording, so we'll see. Anyway, there you go. That was Intervallo boss battle theme, Limbus Company. I really need to look into this game because it sounds awesome. But yeah, let's move on.